really thought that I would watch this movie, let alone make a whole video about it, but I did, and here we are. I was well aware of the K-Pop Demon Hunters movie when it took the world by storm, but I didn't really get it. As someone who is neither a fan of musicals or K-pop, this just didn't really seem like my jam. Also, everyone was going absolutely crazy over this movie, so I had to not watch it just out of spite. And that worked for a while until my brother visited and said that we had to watch it. And so we did. So I finally saw it. And I had so many issues with this movie.
Wow, this is garbage. You actually like this?
And nobody talked about them. YouTubers, people I knew in person, in the general online discourse. No one had anything negative to say about this movie.
Anyone?
I'm going to be talking about just some of the issues that I had with this movie that nobody else saw, or at least nobody else wanted to talk about. Before I critique, I do want to be fair and list the things that I liked about the movie, because it wasn't all bad. Only like 95% bad. First, I do understand why a lot of people like this. A big draw of this movie was the music, and while I personally did not care much for it, I understand that lots of people like this kind of music, and this was a fun new musical, and that's cool. I will also say there are quite a few funny moments in this movie.
Yeah, you're right, Zoe. They're amazing, but they suck.
Once they come off the stage, jump down for the attack. These boys will be dun dun dun.
That's what.
I don't think you're a mistake.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye.
Also, I am a sucker when it comes to awesome female warriors with giant weapons and amazing fighting skills. So some of the fight scenes, and Mira with her giant whatever kind of weapon this is, were pretty cool. And I also really like seeing characters with just stupid long hair. I think that's a lot of fun. So those are some positive things that I liked about the movie, but that was about it. And it was a lot of pretty surface level stuff, I admit. Alright, that's enough being positive and nice. It's time to tear this movie to pieces. I don't want to just go through and list all the issues that I had with this movie in a bullet point list, because that doesn't feel like very constructive criticism. Instead, I want to review this movie in a comparative manner. This movie, its protagonist, and some major plot points I found to be very comparable to a beloved Disney classic. A young female protagonist who feels shame for her true identity must conceal her identity in order to fight against the enemy that seeks to destroy her people. If her true identity is revealed, she will face dire consequences. If you haven't guessed by now, the other movie I'm talking about is Mulan. These movies have a lot of similarities, and I found it very interesting to compare them, especially since I absolutely loved one and sort of totally hated the other one. And I needed to know why. What were the major differences here? If their stories felt so similar, why was one awesome and the other not? There are two specific scenes from each movie that I want to compare that I think shed some light on this. The first scene comparison involves the one in Mulan where they find the burning village and dead warriors, and the one in Demon Hunters where they find the empty train. First, let's take a look at Mulan. Shang and his small army are heading out to provide support to his father and his troops. During their journey, the men become bored and tired and start singing about a girl worth fighting for to boost morale and take their minds off their tedious walk. The boys are all taking turns describing their ideal partner, a girl who they think is worth fighting this war for. Their song is abruptly interrupted when they come across a burning village. They stop singing to see the destruction in front of them, being harshly reminded of the brutal nature of this war. They go in to inspect the damage, and Mulan finds a little doll in the snow. It's the same doll that the Huns had found earlier. They then find the troops they were sent to support, and they have all fallen. Chin Po hands Shang his father's helmet. Neither the owner of the doll nor the helmet survived. Shang takes his father's helmet and places it on a sword in the snow, leaving a small memorial for his father. Mulan comes and places the doll next to the sword to honor the young girl worth fighting for. The time to mourn is brief as they immediately return to their journey to find the Huns. The war goes on and they have a duty to continue the fight. This scene is incredibly tragic. The sudden halt of singing to immediate silence is jarring and unsettling. It shocks both the warriors and the audience and reminds them what is at stake in this fight. The lives of their loved ones and strangers in their nation. People that they were called on to protect and fight for. They start out by singing about what type of women they find worth fighting for, and the story reminds us that the little village girl is the girl worth fighting for. A tragic, brutal, and harsh reminder to these characters of why they are fighting and who they are fighting for. That was the purpose of this scene. Now let's compare this to the scene in K-Pop Demon Hunters. The train scene. Rumi, Mira, and Zoe are working on their new song, Takedown, in hopes that this will be the one that gains the hearts of their fans again and seals the Han Moon, defeating the demons. This scene starts out with Mira and Rumi fighting over Rumi's strange behavior. Rumi doesn't like the song, and Mira wants to understand why it feels like Rumi is doubting and questioning what the hunters stand for. If you have not seen this movie, Rumi is half demon and is working hard to hide that from the other hunters. As she is trying to hide this information and as they are working on this song, Takedown, that is talking about taking down all the demons, she starts dealing with more identity crisis issues and starts doubting her own worth because she is half demon. Their fight is interrupted by more demons arriving, and Mira tells Rumi to prove to them that she is with them.
If you're with us, prove it.
They start to sing their song and fight the demons. Then Rumi sings one line, "A demon with no feelings don't deserve to live." Poetry, I know. She stops fighting as she sings and then gets hit by a demon with a giant club. While she is down, Mira and Zoe continue fighting the demons as they start to cover the whole train. The demons are defeated, but it's too late. They rush down into the train to find that it is completely empty and all the passengers have been killed by the demons. Dark stuff. Very quickly after they show the empty train, the three solemnly get off the train. Mira says to Rumi,
"Whatever you think about the song, it doesn't matter right now. Everything is at stake, and we just need to get through this together."
And then Zoe says,
You know I'm always on your side, but it's really hard to understand this time. We can't win this without your voice, Rumi.
Trust me, I'm gonna make sure we win.
and then the scene is over and they move on to the next scene.
Okay, so I've been meaning to ask, why does the bird wear a tiny hat?
Why do I find the scene comparable to the Mulan scene? Because this is meant to be the reminder to the characters and the audience of the brutality of this war and the stakes at play. The empty train is the burned down village. The difference I find incredibly annoying is how the Demon Hunters movie treated this scene. In Mulan, the important line of the song that we focus on is "a girl worth fighting for." The focus is on the little girl and on the people that they are meant to protect. In Demon Hunters, the line that is focused on is "a demon with no feelings don't deserve to live." Rumi in this moment is thinking about herself and her demon half. She's thinking about her own identity crisis rather than the people that she is meant to protect. If Rumi was actually greatly affected by this demon side of her, I might understand. If her mind was slowly being corrupted, if she was slowly being controlled by the Demon King, if she was becoming evil or something, it would make sense why she was so concerned about her patterns and would be distracted in battle. Perhaps as she aged or as the barrier weakened, her demon self would grow stronger and she would start turning against her own people. This would be a serious problem, and I would understand why she would be more concerned about this than maybe feeling like she needs to mourn over that empty train for longer. However, this is not the case in the movie at all. The character Jinu even remarks on how strange it is that she has the demon patterns but is not under the control of the Demon King.
It's how Kima controls us. Do you not hear him in your ear?
What are you talking about?
Rumi is not a demon in nature. She only has the purple markings on her skin. This should not be something that she is so hung up on that she stops mid-battle to ponder. She is more concerned about the purple patterns on her body than the lives of the poor women, children, and men on that train. Get over yourself, Rumi. People are dying.
There's people that are dying.
She should have been racked with immense guilt over the deaths of those passengers, but you don't see it. The movie moves on quickly from this empty train, barely allowing the audience or characters to really feel the emotional weight of that situation. The scene in Mulan slows down, takes the audience slowly through the village, and allows the characters to briefly mourn the tragic deaths of those people. They focus on the tragedy and their focus for fighting. K-Pop Demon Hunters rushes through the empty train, moves quickly past the dead passengers, and focuses on Rumi's insecurities. If you're not convinced that these two scenes handled these tragic deaths differently, all you have to do is look at the timestamps. Mulan and the soldiers spent 3 minutes in the village, discovering the tragedy that occurred and spending time to mourn those deaths. K-Pop Demon Hunters spent a staggering 13 seconds on the empty train.
The passengers!
"13 seconds for these characters to discover this horrible event that just occurred, mourn for those deaths, and then move on to the next scene.
Why does the bird wear a tiny hat?
That alone shows me which story and characters truly care about the people they are meant to protect, and which story doesn't really want to focus on it for too long. The next scenes that I want to compare are when the true identity of our protagonists are revealed. Once again, let's start with Mulan. This scene follows after the battle with the Huns. Mulan, currently known as Ping to everyone, fired the cannon into the mountain, caused an avalanche, and buried the Huns. She also managed to save Shang from the avalanche. The Huns are gone, the troops are safe, Shang thanks Ping for saving his life. Ping, Mulan, then starts to pass out, having received an injury from Shan Yu's sword. They call for the medic, and Mulan receives the help that she needs. Shang is waiting outside the tent, and we see the medic tell him some troubling news. Shang rushes into the tent to see that what the medic said was true. Ping is woman.
A woman!
Chifu grabs Mulan from the tent and reveals her identity to the rest of the men. Mulan then reveals her name and why she did this, which was to save her father. Chifu insults her, demanding that they kill the imposter. Shang goes to his horse and grabs his sword. He walks to Mulan, seemingly ready to kill her. He lifts the sword, then drops it, exclaiming, "A life for a life." They are even. He then commands his men to move out, leaving Mulan. Mulan feels stuck after this. She has been abandoned by her fellow warriors. She also feels shame for her actions and fears going home. As she is contemplating whether or not she did the right thing and did them for the right reason, a few of the Huns emerge from the snow. Mulan sees them heading to the palace and immediately quits the pity party. She needs to warn the troops of these survivors and help stop them. It no longer mattered to her what they thought of her. She knew what was right and did not hesitate to do it. Duty, honor, saving people, all more important than her own personal struggles. Now, let's take a look at the identity reveal in K-Pop Demon Hunters and the aftermath of that. In this movie, Rumi's identity is revealed when the three hunters are meant to be singing on stage to their fans. Mira and Zoe, however, had been lured off stage by a couple of demons who tricked them into thinking that their manager, Bobby, was being kidnapped. While Mira and Zoe are gone, two demons disguise themselves and take their place on stage. These two demons in disguise start to attack Rumi during a song, and they reveal her patterns to the audience, who don't really know anything, so that doesn't really matter. Mira and Zoe show back up, having discovered that the demons tricked them and lured them away, and they see Rumi on stage, patterns and demon features revealed. Rumi rushes off the stage and runs into Mira and Zoe. Her friends are hurt by discovering her true identity and do not trust her anymore. Rumi tries to convince them to stay and help her fix her, and do their duty. They point their weapons at her, and she runs away crying. After Rumi runs away, what do Zoe and Mira do? Continue the fight, right? Because demons are coming to kill everyone. Wrong! Zoe and Mira are then shown in the street, seeing the civilians being mind-controlled by the Demon King. Being so distraught over Rumi's lie, Mira seems to just give up on their mission and falls under the control of the Demon King as well. Zoe falls next, and both are walking towards the Demon King to be eaten along with everybody else. Where did Rumi go? She still knows that there are demons out there that need to be stopped, so what does she do? As Mira and Zoe are being mind-controlled by the Demon King, Rumi finds her mentor and surrogate aunt, Celine. This is the woman that raised her and taught her to hide her patterns. Rumi shows up, revealing her demonish form. She tells Celine that she should do what she should have done years ago and destroy Rumi. Reminder, there is nothing demon-like about Rumi other than her appearance. She does not kill people, she does not have a desire to steal people's souls, she is a good person. Why does she think she is like them and deserves to die? I have no idea.
Well, you got me. By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Celine knows that this is stupid and refuses. They fight over Celine not accepting her. Rumi then leaves, exclaiming that she is glad to see the current Han Moon destroyed. She then goes and makes a new one. She sings a new song, snaps the two other hunters out of their hypnotized state, and they save the day. Let me tell you something else, man. They are so gosh darn lucky that these demons decided to take their sweet time eating everybody. The demons decided to, rather than just start stealing souls, slowly lure everyone into an auditorium, get all dressed up for a new song, sing the entire song to them, and then have a little chit-chat with Rumi when she enters. We've seen them stealing souls left and right throughout this movie. Very dark. And now that the barrier is broken, the hunters are acting all weak and pathetic and mopey, the demons decide, let's hold off for a bit. No need to go too crazy now. Seriously, this whole time, no souls were eaten? Not that I want that to happen. I'm just saying it is awfully convenient and considerate of the demons to not eat anyone while the hunters whine and cry and give up on their duty for a pretty good chunk of time. This was pathetic. When Mulan's identity was revealed, they had believed the Huns to be all dead. As soon as she realized that some of the Huns were still alive, she immediately jumped back into action.
I have to do something.
When Rumi's identity is revealed, the demons are still at large and people are going to die. Mass amounts of people are about to die and they're just too upset about being lied to that they just give up on protecting them. Zoe and Mira, who are supposed to be two of the most elite warriors ever, are easily taken over by the Demon King's mind powers. They all know that the Han Moon is breaking and the world itself is at stake, but that's just not as important as their hurt feelings. You see, Rumi lied to them, so they just don't feel like fighting demons anymore. May as well go get eaten. Wild stuff, selfish stuff, pathetic stuff. Comparing these scenes, I found that Rumi was an incredibly selfish character. Her main motivation, her main struggle was her patterns. This is what she focused on above all else. Above the hundreds of people dying, above the impending end of the world. None of that mattered because she was so ashamed of her patterns. Her character did not seem to care about the civilians she was meant to protect, at least not above her own personal identity crisis. Mulan is a truly selfless character. Her entire journey as a soldier started by the selfless act of saving her father. She cared for her family, her people, her country. It was her duty to protect them, and she never faltered. If Rumi and the other hunters truly cared about protecting people, they would not have crumbled so easily when Rumi's secret was revealed. What did her secret even mean? What impact did it have on them, really? Why were they unable to work with her? Did they really need to trust her to fight with her? Shouldn't they have at least tried fighting with her?
You want to just try it? Just try it.
And if you can't fight with her, fine, fight without her. Don't just give up because you feel sad and betrayed. And Rumi, don't just go try to off yourself because they found out you were half demon. You're not actually a bad person. You just have purple patterns on your body. Quit whining and stop the demons! Seriously, these three are so lucky that the demons wanted to finish their musical number before feasting. And yes, eventually Rumi went back and stopped the bad guys and Mira and Zoe helped, but it was too little too late. Not for the characters necessarily, but for me. You guys already proved that you are weak and selfish. I truly don't believe that these characters care about saving others more than they do their own petty squabbles and insecurities.
You people are so petty and tiny.
Another point of interest is that the stakes are very different for these characters. Mulan knows she will die if her identity is revealed. We can't say the same for Rumi. Could she have believed that her friends would kill her if her identity was revealed? I don't know, maybe they would have. They didn't though. They just shunned her. And Celine already knew about her identity, so I feel like that added to the stakes being lowered. So the stakes of their identity being revealed are very different. It's very low for Rumi and very high for Mulan. However, the stakes for their mission are also very different. Mulan is protecting her people and her country, one nation, but Rumi is fighting for the entire world. She needs to toughen up and get over her identity crisis. So there you have it. Those are the few of the main reasons why I did not like this movie or this character. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with anything I've said. I could talk more about other issues I had with this movie. Genu, the confusing world building, the mass casualties that are heavily ignored and brushed over. But I might save that for another video if I ever want to talk about that. I don't know. We'll see. Bye, guys.